turn cancer into a business that has impact on women's lives? Well, we're going to find out today, thanks to my guest, Peg Feodoroff, coming to us all the way from Boston. And Peg is the co-founder and the president of Healing Threads. Peg, thank you so much for being on the show today.
It's my pleasure, Krizia. It's a pleasure to be speaking to someone in another country.
Yeah, well, yes, the beauty of Skype is that you could actually speak to anybody in any country, anywhere, and it's just the most beautiful invention ever.
Fabulous.
Peg, I just wanted to get started here. I mean, really, what you've done with your business, it's really what we call a heart entrepreneur. You've launched the Healing Threads a few years ago, and I wanted to know the story behind that, and also how that has a connection with the question that I asked at the beginning of this interview.
Well, it's rather a poignant story, but it started in 2002 when I was diagnosed with melanoma. Melanoma is a deadly skin cancer, and something that occurs, probably started when I was a teenager and got multiple sunburns. All you need is 2 or 3 bad sunburns and your risk of melanoma it increases exponentially. It's not many people know that, but it is something that occurs when you're a child, mostly. Yeah. So anyway, I was diagnosed and went through that whole hell, and I had surgery, and then I started radiation. And while I was recovering from the radiation and waiting to go into my chemo, and my chemo, what they had at the time in 2002 for melanoma was a drug called interferon. Okay. And interferon, if you know anything about it, is it gives you the flu, basically, and it helps your immune system. Okay. So I had the flu for a year, which was interesting. But anyway, between the end of the radiation and the beginning of the chemotherapy, my sister, who lives in California and was 41, divorced, and had a 6-year-old daughter, was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer, which threw everyone for a loop. And she was given 6 to 12 months to live. Now, my sister is my younger sister. She's 12 years younger than I. Okay. And so I was always the babysitter, etc. So naturally, I sort of took care of her, because I thought of her almost as a daughter, because there was such a large difference in our age. And when I married, she was only 10. So that was different too. So anyway, we have another sister, Patty, who lives in Atlanta. So the 3 of us are in 3 corners of the globe. Yeah. She's a psychotherapist, and she specializes in infertility. Okay. Anyway, so there's the 3 of us, and then Claire was diagnosed, and Patty and I were, as everybody was stunned, not only by that diagnosis, but by the prognosis. She went in for surgery. She was filled with cancer. She started chemo immediately. Everyone's world was turned upside down, and being 3,000 miles away was horrible, just horrible. And but we made the best of what we could do, and wanted to help her in any way we could. So we did things like, send her a new nightgown, or send her a robe, because really none of us had any experience with cancer until, my experience, and then hers was so much worse than mine, though you really should never compare illnesses. But anyway, my sister Claire was a very fun-loving, intense person, but had a wonderful sense of humor, and she loved to do cold calling, and she loved to do sales, and she loved to do marketing, and that was her forte, and that's what she did for a living, and she was very good at it. So she wanted three things out of life. She wanted to own her own home,
Okay.
which she never did because her choice of a marriage partner was very poor. She wanted to have a girl child, which she did. She had Lily.